Hey there.
Just in case.
Welcome to the podcast, boys.
Banter Boyz, let's go.
We're good.
There's an intro somewhere in there.
We got it. We're in here.
You gritted into the hello, and I think that's how we should start every podcast.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Definitely.
Great start.
Episode 4. Number 4. That's pretty good.
Consistency.
Episode 4.
Yeah.
As many titles as Manchester City won in a row.
Yeah.
It's way too.
Great number.
He said,
It's a little too early.
Formidables.
We just
Formidables.
Well, see, we're going to go over the kits that we didn't get to last time. We'll do some transfer news roundup, World Cup, Gold Cup, all that stuff. And then we're going to go into what we started at the end of last episode was Mikel Arteta. Is he the right man for the job? Is he ever going to win the trophy? So the back 3/4 of this will be probably focused on these two hating on him and me trying to defend him without Wes, but we have a special message from Wes when we get started on that. Nikos, you guys signed 2 people basically. You wanna go first?
Yeah. So we got Gittins. I think that's how you say his name. If that's not, then whatever.
That's how I would do it.
I think big pickup. I think that was something that I think I might have even said last episode that we need to sign a winger. That's something that we need. I think we need somebody to challenge Madueke. I think this is something that it just makes sense, and I'm happy to see like what he does. It's a decent penny for him, so we'll see. But I'm excited about it.
You now have 2 competent wingers and a competent striker now.
Yeah. Well. 2 competent strikers now.
Yeah.
Also sound João Pedro.
Yes.
Because I feel a certain type of way about this, not gonna lie. João Pedro, decent player, but also we just signed, in my mind, a duplicate of Liam Delap. He's not that guy like Gyökeres. He's not that guy like Sesko. He's not that guy. Like, I do think Pedro is a decent striker, but I think he's the same quality as Delap. So what are we doing when we have 2 strikers of the same, caliber? And then we also have Nico Jackson. I hope this was to phase him out. I hope this was to phase out Nico Jackson. I swear to God. But yeah, it just seems like we signed 2 strikers of the same caliber that I don't know if we're going to move. But it's not like we can move anyone to the wing. I'm not sure if that means Pedro's going to play like a false 9 under. It's hard. It's hard to figure out what we're going to do. But also, he's on his way to the U.S. right now to finish a transfer and maybe finish out the Gold Cup. So we'll see in the coming days if he plays and gets on the field. But I think optimistic, but I don't think a striker is what we needed since we got the lap. If we were going to go for another striker, then I feel like we should have done a bombshell striker, with the names of like Ollie Watkins out there, Gyökeres, Sesko, like, these big strikers out there. We signed a decent striker. So I hope he proves me wrong, and I hope we kind of like figure out what these 2 are going to play, like competition wise, but we made some moves, so that's cool.
Right. You should have done more of a Holland Alvarez thing instead of a Hoyland Xerxes thing, getting the same striker twice.
Yeah. And also like same-ish build, same-ish style of play. Like if you were to go for that Holland type of like that actual striker, like big body striker. Right now we have 2 kind of lean, like I said, I hope I get proved wrong, but also I don't even know if João Pedro was starting for Brighton, because I would watch a few games and he was inconsistently playing. So
right.
Maybe I
think he had some injury bug issues last year.
I hope, but also a pretty penny. If we're spending 50 million plus on a striker,
Yeah, my initial thought was, is he going 4-4-2? Is he going to try to do 2 strikers, those 2 new wingers now with, Neto on one side, Gittins on the other? Is that the plan, or is he going to play Pedro as like the 10 that's basically the false 9, and they could kind of both, kind of fluid there? I was like,
what's funny is that nobody does a double striker up top anymore. Barely anybody.
No.
Yeah.
Almost nobody. So if we were to do that, I'd be kind of thrilled to see it. Like, to be fair, we have so many. That's where it gets tough because we're going to have our 2 wingers. We have Cole Palmer, so he's going to have to play. He's going to be Cam. We got Caicedo, who's going to have to play. We have Lavia on the bench. We have Enzo. So it's like we have too many midfielders. We have 4 midfielders, or at least 3 that need to play because I know Enzo needs to play. I know Palmer needs to play. I know Caicedo needs to play. So how are we going to have 3 midfielders, 2 strikers, left and right, and then our whole So we'll see what they do.
It gives you versatility, right? Because realistically nowadays you can't really just play the same formation every single match all throughout the season. So it gives them some versatility, and I don't know, if I'm Pedro Neto, I'm licking my lips. That's a guy who loves to get a cross in.
Neto,
those are 2 guys that are going to win the ball in the air.
He's crushing it right now, and I'm happy about that, and I'm glad he's like showing right now in the Club World Cup. And when it comes to formation too, and like changing something around, I think that's how we won our title with Tuchel. Is because at that time no one was playing that like 5 back with the wing backs.
Right.
Like we just dumped everybody with that formation, and we somehow with like a little bit above average team like won a Champions League. And then I think everyone else started doing it or caught on. So like I think that just like every once in a while, few years formation change where you're like nobody can stop it. We're like, cool, now we're just playing a 4-4-2, you know? Like
right.
Yeah.
So
like you
we'll
said,
see.
maybe doing something different.
Yeah.
Well, the Arsenal guys, I mean, Wenger was a huge he loved the 4-4-2. It like for him, it's still the best formation in football because you have defensive cover in both the midfield and the back line, and you also have attacking options. So, I mean, it's basic, it's simple, but who knows? It might work really well for Chelsea. They have the pieces for it.
Yeah, and also everyone picking up is super young. I mean, João Pedro's 23, and that's like old for our team. So everyone we've been picking up is relatively young. So I think just a lot of time to like work with each other and see what happens. But what about Arsenal?
Well, we're almost finally in July, which means Zubimendi will finally be done for probably the 9th time of having Fabrizio have to tweet "Here we go" with this guy. So we'll finally get that over the line. We got linked to some cool guys. We got linked to Eze this weekend, so that was fun. And then I saw links that were like, hey, even if we get him, that doesn't ruin the Rodrigo thing, which was like, okay, there's no way we're spending $300 million this year, but hey, you know what?
Yeah, where are they getting the money from?
Yeah, link it away.
They haven't won anything. Where are they getting the money from?
Link it. So that would be fun. We got the "Here we go" on Norgard, basically, which I saw a lot of Arsenal fans like, oh my God, how is he going to replace Thomas Partey? It's like, well, he's not. Zubimendi's replacing him, and Norgard's replacing Jorginho. So he's not really, you know what I mean? He's just that older midfielder that's going to come in and play some cup games. He was a captain for Brentford. He was the engine of their team. He played really well, kind of like that underrated guy on that team.
Right, he's one of those veterans that's been around that you need. You just need him, right?
He knows the Premier Leagues. You don't have to worry about him getting, like, you're not signing some 30-year-old from a different league. Like, oh, can he do it? You know he can do it. He can come in, do a job, whatever.
Right.
You know? I'm fine with that. Even if Zubimendi were to get hurt, Declan Rice could go there, and hopefully we can now have, you know, an Eze or somebody else take that left number 8 role. So I'm okay with the midfield cover. I would like one more guy, but I think that's, you know.
You know, it's funny. You were just saying Zubimendi, we're in July. Hopefully we can finish it up. And I was like, yeah, why are they taking so long? But also, you guys aren't in a rush because you guys aren't playing anything right now, and not as like a dig, but like a little bit of a dig. But like, yeah, you guys aren't. There is no rush to like finish something up and have him like ready before this time. You guys really can take your time, just at the hopes that nobody swoops somebody, you know, because that's where it gets a little
like the Gittins one. We were linked to him. Obviously, he, you know, that's can't happen now. Nico Williams, he wants to go to Barcelona, which now Barcelona's having problems potentially registering him. So. Who knows if that's going to go through, which is crazy because it's like in my head, it's like it's still Barcelona. Like they should, like it's Real Madrid. They could do whatever they want type deal. Like they could just get any player whenever they want. Like they're still that.
La Liga will
in my
find a way
head.
for them to register
Yeah, like
them.
in my head, they're still there, but I guess maybe they're not. The Gyökeres thing, apparently he's pissed because he had a handshake deal when he signed his contract last year that he could leave for 60 plus 10 in add-ons. And now the new football director is like, no, you're going for 80 plus. We're not letting you leave for that. And he's like, I'm not playing for you anymore. I'm not training. You'll never see me again. So I don't know what's going on with that. Sesko is very much, I think they're just trying to juggle both so that they don't say, hey, we definitely want this person. And they go, okay, well now he's going to cost this much. I think they are trying to do a lot this year. So they are trying to kind of penny pinch, save 10 million here, save 10 million there. Now you can go ahead and do something else type deal, which is annoying for the fan. But also it's like if we get a good deal on a player, it's like, I guess I can't. What's the difference of getting a better deal and it being 4 weeks later? I guess it doesn't matter.
This is a classic case of having something that's good and then finding something else that you're like, I also like this, but you can only have one. You can only have one. It's like no, I'm not gonna.
It's what's.
It's going back to that thing I said about Arsenal not having balls to just go and do something.
Yeah, which that's how I would play it, but that's also that's not my job, And maybe this is his way. Apparently, from what I've been reading, is that at Atletico Madrid, this is what he did. He would say, "I'm interested in 4 people for one position." And never kind of show his hand of who he actually wanted, and kind of made all the deals get to the same point, and then just got their dude. It was like, okay, I don't care if number 4 walks away because I'm still happy with 1, 2, and 3. Maybe that's his system. I don't know. It's very interesting. We also got linked to the center back of Valencia, Mascara, young center back. Guess he's fine with playing behind Gabriel and Saliba, so we definitely need one because if they go down, we're totally screwed.
If you guys get Etsy, where would he play?
Left wing.
It's a great question.
I don't
He's a phenomenal 10. I know. Him out of a 10 position. Where he's
really good.
Phenomenal.
The only thing is, in my head, what you could do, which now you get into a problem, because now you have to have Declan Rice and Zubimendi fight it out for the 6. Have Odegaard as one of those 8/10s, and then have Eze as one of those 8/10s, because Odegaard will track back and run around the field like a crazy person. So you could do that. You could have him play left wing and have him come inside.
I think you guys are kind of caught. You guys need a left wing, and then everything else needs to be like a position that's like clearly replaceable, because you guys have Havertz. You guys have Havertz? You guys are kind of locked in on this guy, but also he's good. He is good when he plays. Sometimes he's all right, but then what are you gonna do? You're gonna drop Odegaard from his position? Your captain, right?
I know.
He's
our captain.
If you're bringing in Eze, you're bringing him in to replace Odegaard, because it's not a secret Odegaard didn't have a great season last year.
Did not have a great season last year.
I mean, so unless it's more. You're going to let Eze kind of play a bunch of different positions, which I don't think anybody really loves to do.
No.
Give Odegaard a break and also play on the wing. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me for them to get him. It's more of like he's available, let's take him, because we've missed out on great players that have become available.
To me, the way that the Eze transfer works really good is if he's our sprinkle and not our main topping. If we get in a left winger, we get in a striker, and we get Eze, now it's like, okay, he can play left wing. He can play. He can replace. A sprinkle. True. True.
He's a huge player.
He's awesome.
He's really good.
Cherry on top. He is like he's the ice cream.
Yeah,
he's the guy.
I really like him. I'm just not sure how he fits into our team.
And that's why.
But he's an Arsenal fan.
Up at the Spurs, he's going to Tottenham.
He is an Arsenal fan. He was here till he was 13, and I guess he gave a podcast last year, the year before, and then he cried like after they let him go, and was like he couldn't train again for like
Yeah, but
months.
now he's
You
bitter.
know,
He's hungry. He's going to
so
Tottenham. He's gonna take that away from them. Tottenham,
Tottenham won
Arsenal.
more trophies than Arsenal next year. I'm taking Tottenham over Arsenal.
I think honestly, I think he would. I think
Right?
he would come even if we got Rodrigo. I think he would still
Did I miss something? Rodrigo who?
from Real Madrid. He didn't start again, dude.
Oh,
and
okay.
he's not.
Yeah, you know, I
He's
was
apparently
confused.
he's apparently not going to start for the next matches, like the like the leaked lineups that come out like a day before.
Listen,
He's
I don't think
apparently
he's.
on the bench again.
I don't think he's good enough for all the hype.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, Martinelli has crushed me because I was so on his side. I was beating the drum of this guy's going to be amazing. We finally got that diamond in the rough signing. We got that FIFA career mode signing, okay, where you get that kid in, you're like, oh, look, he's 16 from Brazil. He's 94 potential. And you got him into the
Yep.
team and he's amazing. That's exactly what I was like, yeah, this is the guy. Yeah, he could go. I'm ready for him to go. He's a
speed merchant.
He's
That's
a speed
it.
merchant,
Mhm.
and he's great at like dribbling at somebody, but he doesn't look up. He's one of those, like, as a kid, you're like, they tell you don't look at the ball. Yeah, he never got that lesson in the favelas of Brazil because he just stares at the ball and then he looks up at the last second and it's like three people are open, but now he didn't position himself to see those guys. So he just constantly is like, dude, can you just look? Like, there's nobody in the box and you just crossed it. Who are you crossing it to?
Pretty much 99 vision, 50. No, 99 pace, 50 vision.
50 vision, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, all the Arsenal ITKs are like, July's going to be the month. July's going to be where they make all their moves. They got to wait for the new year to start to do all these moves, PSR and financial fair play and all this. So, hey, all right, I'm giving them till the start of, preseason. When that plane leaves London, they better have a striker. They better have a winger on that plane. Okay, that's what they need.
Right.
So-
I mean, and like you got to keep your fingers crossed. I hate. Well, I actually kind of like giving an Arsenal fan hope because I know at the end of the day they're gonna get let down.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
But like there are always those signings that you don't expect to happen that come up out of the blue and it just totally changes your team.
Yeah,
And I'm thinking like Akanji. Like Akanji was a huge pickup for City, helped them to a Champions League. No one knew he was available. Like I didn't see anything about Akanji being available from Dortmund, and they got him for 18 million.
yeah.
It's just one of those where it's like, transfer deadline's approaching. They made a change. They signed a young guy,
Yeah,
or
they brought in somebody.
someone, or like they couldn't get someone out on loan that they wanted to, and they just decided, you know what, like we're gonna take the shot here, and who's been kind of plateaued in our squad. That can happen too. So
yeah. What about City? Anything from them? Or they're all done? Their business is done.
well, like the things I talked about, like I wanted to see was a right back. Well, I've been seeing a pretty good right back so far in the Club World Cup in Mateus Nunes. So like I'm okay with where we are right now. I mean, we have had a couple easy matches and then Juventus, and Juventus looked like an easy match. I mean,
they
first
did.
of all, in that Juventus match, their manager has zero balls. He didn't start Yildiz, who is probably the best attacker on that team, and in theory, you're playing for a match to not play Real Madrid next round.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you wouldn't go all out against City in the group stage, and then, if you go down swinging, okay. But it was 5-2. They had no offense. They pressed for the first 10 minutes, and then they sat on their heels, and it looked like a training session. I mean, and Mateus Nunes had an assist, showed up in a bunch of places at the right time, and he's actually playing defense well. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think we need a right back, and the only other thing I'm really hearing is potentially Ilkay Gundogan out. And, I mean, Gundo has looked good in the Club World Cup. He's still slow. which isn't really something you can afford in one of your midfielders for Manchester City, a team who, all 11 guys are really part of the attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't really sacrifice that, because it's not that he's slow, it's he's fucking molasses. Like, he can't track back anymore. He's just not that guy anymore. He could still score. He scored a great goal, but Gundogan to, I'm hearing, maybe Turkey. So if they're gonna pay for him, we got him on a free. So
Yeah, you can
that's
double dip on that.
exactly.
I just saw something a little crazy when I was doing some independent research on my screen over here, and I was seeing a lot of ties. This goes back to Arsenal for a striker by the name of Nicholas Jackson was added to Arsenal shortlist of strikers.
I did see that.
What are your thoughts on potentially getting Nicholas Jackson? Let me tell you. Let me sell him to you.
There's no chance. There's no chance. I would rather Havertz, and you know what? If we sign him, I will buy a Havertz jersey, and I will become the Havertz biggest fan. He'll start every game.
I was just searching up because I was like, there's no way he's like, no, it's nowhere we're sold on him. And I searched him up on Google, and the first thing is like, Arsenal, add him to targets. I'm like, no way.
Yeah, that to me is the Chelsea have too many strikers. Arsenal need a striker. Okay, then he's got to be on their list. Let's put that out there.
And it says, okay, this article, I know it's bullshit, but it says $55 million. And I'm just like, there's not a chance that you're giving me the same price as Yao Pedro. I just, I don't know. That'd be crazy.
No shot.
See, you know what's going to happen? And it's going to be hilarious. This is what's going to happen. You guys, is what I said earlier, you guys have something nice. And then you guys are waiting. You guys are getting greedy. You're getting greedy. You're waiting too long. You're like, I don't know. Who do I want? The world's mine. I can choose whoever I want. And you're going to end up with none of them. Gyökeres, out the door. Sesko, out the door. Incoming, oh, who's that? Nico Jackson, Arsenal striker next year.
That's my fear. Because, like, in my head, I'm like, okay, Chelsea were not linked to Yao Pedro before yesterday morning, and in 5 hours.
They were. I actually saw it for a few days.
But, like, literally, the signing was done within a week.
It moved fast.
Like, I don't, like, Chelsea does it. City, they signed, 9 players in, like, an hour, basically, this transfer window. And it's like, I don't know.
There's something that JP says quite often. It takes some balls.
Yeah.
And you know what? We had a link, and there was competition. It was Newcastle or Chelsea, and we got it.
Yeah.
And we made the deal.
Outbid them. That's it. It's like, I see it. It's not just in this sport. It's in anything that you're negotiating for. I see it all the time at work. You give a price for something. You have a few people interested in it. And if you're the seller and you want your top dollar, say, hey, first to this number is the one that we sell it to. And that's it. Like, we're not going into a bidding war. This is our number. Get there. And Chelsea, get there. That's what they do. City, that's what they've done. They get there. I mean, Cherokee had a handshake agreement on an exit fee with Lyon, and allegedly Lyon didn't honor it, and City had to pay a little more. But like, City said, okay, we're going to pay it because they knew the number. They were told a number. They made the bid. That's it. It's over. And it seems like Arsenal, like, constantly get caught in this loop of, like, trying to save every single penny on a deal.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
Like, it bites you in the ass. Time kills deals.
Yeah. 100%. The other thing that's weird too is that, like, Gyökeres and Sesko, like, every single day have, like, a refreshed, they both want Arsenal, and, like, but they're not being linked to anybody else, which is also really weird. Like, United want both of them, but it seems like United are fine with saying, hey, we're just going to grab the loser. Like, whoever doesn't go to Arsenal, we'll just take the guy you guys didn't want. But, like, no one else. Like, I saw Juve was, like, thinking about Gyökeres, but it's not like every day there's another Arsenal thing. So it's also weird.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do the kits?
And then, yeah. And then, well, I was going to talk about the Manchester City match that's coming on tonight, but it's in a delay right now.
Ooh, because the heat.
The beginning. No, thunder and lightning.
You know, you could stop
So,
the game for like 2 hours too. You could do that now.
You
Yeah,
can't do that
and
now.
then the other team comes back, and then you're just like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna send this game to overtime because we're gonna call a bullshit handball, and then Chelsea's gonna come out and then stomp them out and over.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to be there even longer.
Yeah. You know what's funny? My sister, she had a baby over the weekend, so I was at the hospital. I came home.
Congratulations, Uncle
Congrats.
Nikos.
Thank you. I'm gonna start whispering Chelsea while he's sleeping, and then like kind of like start young.
And he's gonna have some weird fetish for girls named Chelsea growing up.
Yeah.
He hates soccer.
Yeah.
But
he
loves a woman named Chelsea. I mean, like I didn't go as planned, but I guess we'll take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched the game. I was so tired. I was falling asleep, and then 86 minute. I thought the game ended. And I was like, cool, we won. And then I looked up the score. It's like time delay. I'm like, delay. I'm like, the game was over. And then I forgot what I was doing. I think I was watching a movie. I was watching something. And then all I see is we're in extra time. It's 100 and something minutes in. I'm like, what the fuck?
I got that notification.
What I was doing, and I was like, the game's on to see us tied. But yeah, it was so odd that it took so long to go back to.
Very weird.
Oh, actually, City just put out their starting lineup, which, looking at it, I think this might be what we see a lot for the beginning of the season. Ederson, Nunez, Diaz, Gvardiol, Aït-Nouri, Gundo, possibly out. Reinders, well, Gundo will be out for Rodri. Reinders, Bernardo, Savinho, Doku, and Holland. It's that 4-2-3-1 he's going with. So
Yeah.
I think that's what we're going to see a lot from City this year. Sorry, I needed to get one last City word in before we talk about Manchester United.
We forgot to mention, I just remembered looking at Nico's hat, is how about that penalty for USA? That was awesome.
Oof.
That was
awesome. It was really funny. I was watching the game, and it was a sloppy game. Costa Rica, I feel like on the upper tier of those the teams in this tournament. So I was like, all right, they'll give us some trouble. Well, as soon as we got to PKs, I was shitting on our goalkeeper. I was like, freeze. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I'm like, we don't even care. I'm like, he's gonna choke. This is gonna suck for us. And then I think at the beginning they're like, he went to Harvard. I'm like, I don't care if he went to Harvard. And I was so bitter. And then after he made his third save, I was like, that guy went to Harvard. He's smart. I was his biggest fan at the end of it. I was screaming. I'm like, he went to Harvard. You hear that?
I think he just earned himself the starting role for the World Cup with that performance.
I mean, he's only one other.
He's earned himself an argument.
Yeah,
an argument. Yeah,
that was a great.
I mean, especially when you're going up against that other guy between the sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Novice has historically been a great pen keeper.
Yeah.
And
he saved some too. How many saves were that in total between the both of them? It was like 6?
It's like
5 or 6?
It might have been like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
He had like
because a couple were off target.
Yeah.
No, what I did like was we were up by 1. Basically, Costa Rica, all they had to do was play it safe. We're not in the area to kind of hit top 90s yet. We gotta pick our shot, and we gotta play safe. Make it a good shot, play it safe. So Costa Rica comes up, tries to play it as safe as possible, slam one down the middle. How many times do we see one get saved down the middle? That was beautiful. Shoots right down the middle. Freese doesn't move. Saved it right down the middle. Embarrassing as fuck for that player to go down the middle and just get it stopped, which we never see. Usually you go down the middle, someone's committing to a different way. Yeah. I do think Freese, however you say his name, is probably a PK goalie. How does that translate throughout the rest of the game? Because I mean, he's 6'4". Like the reason why he can commit is because usually if you're shorter, you have to commit earlier.
Yeah.
If you have that height, you have that reach, you can wait and then died. That's why he went to every position. You look,
Yeah.
you wait, you can go. A lot of goalkeepers can't do that because they don't have the stature. So you have to commit early. So I think that's why he has like a little bit of advantage in PKs. How does he do in the game? Great question. I wasn't paying attention that much, but PK shootout, crushed it.
Yeah.
You know what I would say about the keeper staying middle and making that save? He has some balls.
Hold on. Wait. Some ball.
That's some
He has some
balls.
marbles.
Huevos.
That was sick. I'm definitely into the Gold Cup. I feel like we have some hitting dogs in there. Diego Luna, dog.
Yep.
I didn't know
Yeah.
about
Dog.
him until like this cup where I looked at our team and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? I'm in a feisty mood right now. Like, what are we doing? What is this squad? Why do we only have 3 recognizable names in this team?
Hmm.
Luna, shit. I'm happy to see him. I'm happy to I hope that he's going to be like amongst the stars of our team. Freese is showing something. I think that we'll see as the tournament goes on, but also Canada getting knocked out. That was
Fuck
crazy.
Canada. Fuck
Yeah.
Jesse Marsh. Fuck Jesse Marsh. The whole. None of my players called and said they couldn't come, and then the second they got knocked out, well, we didn't have half our team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, Jesse.
Even though they had their stars out there. They had their absolute stars playing this tournament. And then they want to, yeah. I would also say, question marks about Poch. With the, who knows if him applying to that job was real or not. Of course, he denied it. But
Yeah.
if that is true, that
But
shows
they're always going to deny it.
he's not committed. So that's a lot of question marks. Is that like if he applied for this job, that is so sketchy. The summer before the World Cup, which is like even if you're gonna lose, I think the opportunity to say I coached a World Cup would be enough for me to be like, I'll wait it out. I'll wait it out a year.
Let me wait a year.
I mean, he's really. It sucks, but he's really like solidifying himself as one of the good managers who like never won anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm gonna say it. I was so happy that Berhalter missed his PK. That Nepo baby. Watching his dad in the stands after he missed that PK, because I called it. As soon as he went up there, I was like, this kid's missing it.
Yeah.
It was
And
basically,
of course, the camera went right to his dad.
right
after
to his
he
dad,
missed
right to his family. It just gives me a Bradley vibe, and I hated
Mhm.
Bradley so much. I never thought Bradley should have been a focal point of our team because he was never that good. His dad was the
Right.
coach, and we needed to play him, and he was like, yeah, Bradley's that guy. And I was just like, I don't think he should be here. I think we have a lot of other players that can contest. And that's the same thing that I'm seeing with Berhalter right now. Guaranteed, yeah, I didn't pay much attention to how he individually played, but he missed in a big moment. Yeah. And yeah, so
Mhm.
I wasn't sad to see him miss.
My one thing about Poch is I was excited for him to come because when he was at Spurs, he had that young team. He had people coming through the academy. He had a lot of young players, and all of them played the best under him. So I was looking at the U.S. team like, wow, we really have a super young team. We have so many young guys that, like, maybe if he's got to stay, though. He needs this tournament, and then he needs to do good in, like, the beginning of the World Cup. We're not going to do great this World Cup, but by the next one, we should have a team now. But it's like, I don't even know if he's going to stay that long. Now, that ruined it for me. Him being linked is like, oh, okay, you're already thinking about the door. You're already thinking about leaving. Like, the whole point was that if you stayed for 5 years, we were going to get 2 World Cups out of you, and we would have built something. You know what I mean?
Or do we think it was big media? Big Costa Rica. It could have been big Costa Rica media trying to get all of our feathers ruffled the day before a big game.
Fake news.
And they were like, what can we do? Let's say that he applied for a job that he didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't work. Yeah.
The other thing is like when you sign someone like Pochettino, you're taking that risk, right? He's a guy who has managed club football in a big league for a big team. And, when the dollar signs start adding up, like, you're taking that risk with someone like him. And also, like, I hate to say it, but we're talking about the USA team. I mean, it's not a team that's won a World Cup. We've been great in CONCACAF, but, how many teams from CONCACAF have won the World Cup? Like, compared to everywhere else, it's not like he's right now, he's not the manager for Spain. He's not the manager for France. He's not the manager for England or Germany. The U.S.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like that's kind of the risk you take with him. So I was excited as well, but I mean, based on results, yeah, he doesn't have Pulisic, he doesn't have Weah, he doesn't have McKennie,
Yeah.
but like, still, when you would hope that there are better results, obviously, it's a grind to Gold Cup, but I'm not shocked if he's gone before the next World Cup.
Yeah.
This one, yeah, I'm surprised if he's gone before this one, but I'm not shocked if he's gone before the next one.
Yeah, he'll for sure be gone.
Yeah.
I think this will be his. I think we signed him just for this, which was a question mark because he had pretty much like a close to abysmal run with Chelsea. So coming off of a terrible season, getting fired, and then being like, I'm going to be the head coach of the U.S. is a weird move.
As the host country too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I get, like, it could be a resume builder in terms of if you outperform, which...
Oh, you get to the quarterfinals with the USA, it's like, oh, wow, look at this guy.
That's incredible.
Like,
but,
I mean, look at this guy. Yeah, anything like...
Yeah, but
USA fans will keep Pochettino pictures in their garage hanging for the next 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but instead we're actually getting 4-pieced on a friendly against Turkey. And then they want us to get excited about, hey guys, this is our our tour before the World Cup, and we're getting absolutely destroyed, bringing sub-pro players and college players to play our friendly games for us when every other team is bringing their stars, bringing their their best squads in preparation for the World Cup. But instead we have our players prioritizing their clubs and not their country. But whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kits, am I right?
Let's go to the kits. We're gonna get the press talking about USA. We got to move on.
Talk about some new toilet paper, boys.
Yeah.
Well, like what? I mean, they have a little something going on the shoulders, but again,
yeah, like you
I
said,
said
Nico,
this
just nothing. What are we doing here with these kits? Let's get a little.
If you said this was
Arsenal.
a kit, if you said this was a kit from 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I'd have been like, yeah, sure. It doesn't have any this is a new or a throwback. If we were going the throwback route, then go a throwback route. If we're going to the new route, go the new route. But this is all right, yeah, sure. Just throw a template from 6 years ago. It's just all right.
Moving on to their away kit.
Now, hold on.
Now we're getting somewhere.
This is something nice.
Okay.
I hate to say that.
Yeah,
it makes me sick to my stomach.
This is good. The old style logo.
Yep.
Love the retro logo. Throw that in there. I'm good. The white and the purple, okay, what are we doing? I'm liking this.
Everything they do moving forward should be with this logo. They need to make this to their current logo. Make a bold change. Make a bold statement. I mean, you guys finished 17th last season?
Yeah, you got to do something.
Make a big change. Get people excited. That logo is a sick logo. If that is their main logo, first off, you're gonna acquire so many people based on the fact that someone's gonna look at that and be like, "That's sick. What is that?"
Yeah, I only have one
Nikos,
pick.
You're bringing me to the whole fucking theme that I've been on about for the last few episodes, and it's have some balls.
Wait,
what would be having some balls be for a Premier League team? It would be ditch the whole badge concept and give me a sick logo, like this red devil that's been on the Manchester United badge since the dawn of man.
Yeah.
Give me that.
You know what? We're not even talking about.
United. That's sick.
We're not even talking about just soccer logos. All right, as a marketing major who doesn't do marketing at all, normalize sick logos again. Some just creativeness, being creative, not your just copy and paste logos anymore. Like, be creative. Get somebody excited to want to do something that you guys put out. Like, that's sick. That looks sick, and I feel like people should grab onto that rather than you know what we're gonna do. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make a circle. We're gonna put some bullshit in a circle, and that's what we're gonna do. And that's what everyone does. Have some balls. Do something different. If Arsenal wanted to just do the gunner, the cannon, that's sick.
We did that, I think, last year. Last year?
The cannon's sick. The devil is sick. Just do the lion. Get rid of the circle. Like,
Yeah, see, we did this.
Dude, give me a big fat ship for Manchester City. Oh, I'm all over it.
Sick. That'd be sick.
What do we got
All
for the
over
third kit? What's the third kit?
The third kit.
Can they go 2 out of 3? They did go 2 out of 3.
They
Black
can,
and yellow. Shout out Wiz Khalifa.
If this is real, because look, is that devils in between the lines?
It is.
Yeah. Awesome.
If this is real, this is probably
I think it says fan version, but it might be just the right color scheme.
If this is legit, this is up for top kit of the year.
That's.
I'm with you.
I love it. I think everyone should have a black kit. I think it is the best color. I think it's also nice to wear because you could wear that out and it doesn't look like you're wearing
streetwear.
You know what I mean? Like, you could go wear that and go to like a burger place and it's not like, oh wow, you're wearing a bright red or a bright blue or a light blue color. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? It's just, it works with a lot of stuff.
This is I'm wearing my blue jeans tonight, honey. Yeah. We're going to the steak restaurant tonight. I'm wearing my black kit and my blue jeans. I'm tucking it in. I'm tucking it into the blue jeans.
I'm going Kieran and Tierney. I'm going tucked in. I'm going full tuck.
I was gonna say, yeah, babe, we're wearing jeans and going Outback tonight.
Yeah, exactly. That's an Outback outfit right there. You want to go to Outback, you can wear that. Absolutely.
Hey, we ain't going to Ruth's Chris, but we're going to the Outback.
Yeah, get some shrimp on the bobby. You know what? That should be our first sponsor, is Outback.
I'll take some of that awesome bread they got.
Oh, yeah. Give me that recipe.
Don't tempt me with a bloomin' onion.
What's next? Newcastle.
What's next? We have Newcastle United. The same fucking kid as last year.
Yeah, I think it's the same kid as last year. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Next.
That's all we have to say.
I think this is their goalkeeper kit from last year.
Cool.
Next.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
That's cool. We like that one. That one's cool. That's different. The badge looks weird with the orange around it, but whatever. I'll go with it.
Speed run.
Yeah. Next.
Next, thank you, Footy Headlines, for the accurate images. We appreciate you.
Next,
I actually like it. I like it.
I like it if it's real, but I don't know if that's real. Recreated by TR889 with Kit Creator. Samesies.
That is your local rugby.
Would be cool.
Next,
would be cool though.
Would be cool, in all white like that.
Sunderland.
Oh, Sunderland.
Till I die.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I remember watching, when I got back into soccer, it was like I watched the City Amazon documentary, because that was out new at the time, and then Sunderland, Till I Die. And I was like, oh my God. Like, the first season of that show is like, you are so sad for those fans. And then you watch them get relegated again. You're like, oh my Lord.
The only good thing that Sunderland has ever brought us, I don't even know if it's Sunderland. The documentary is this absolute gem of a song from the beginning of that. I don't know if you guys have heard this. Phenomenal song.
Yeah, I do remember that from the beginning of it. And we're not going to play the full song because of copyright issues.
Yeah.
Very sad song to set the tone of your show. But yeah.
What else
Next.
do we got?
Yeah, it's all right.
Sick.
Looks like Ipswich from last year. Cool.
Definitely looks like Ipswich. I was gonna say.
Up the tractor boys. Let's go.
Yeah.
In the meantime, do we want to add Wes?
I said we're gonna add West after we finish the kits.
Got it.
Because we only have what?
We're almost done.
Spurs, which this is the one from 2 years ago. I think their home one. Yeah, that's
Looks very similar to it. Nothing, you know. It's, Nikos, how do we feel about the center of that? How do we feel about the chesticles?
No,
I can't
if
do
it's
the
a
chesticles.
jersey, if it's a jersey from the 90s, then it's okay. But if it's a jersey from 2025, what are we doing?
The Nike logo makes no sense there either. It's just weird.
It's like a weird, awkward dot on the eye.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Next.
But their second one, I hate that. I like this.
Oh, no,
I
hold
hate
on.
it.
Disgusting.
I hate it. I
No,
hate
hold
that. I
on.
like it.
No,
I
hold
hate
on.
it.
Give me that.
Give me that.
If they beat us in that kit, I'm gonna be so sad. I might cry.
They're gonna look so good doing it.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, it's
So good.
awesome.
They're
It's
gonna
just awesome.
finish 17th place, but God, they're gonna look
But
so
man, they're
good.
gonna do it in style.
That's a funeral kit. You wear black to a
is.
funeral.
Yep.
Like
Yeah. No,
you
Justice
show up.
for Big Ange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justice.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Gone
to a
too
real
soon.
one.
Gone but never forgotten.
I'll be loving Big Ange instead. The away kit.
Yeah, but see, now you move the logo to the middle, but you put the Nike back where it should be, and now you didn't know what you
Yeah,
were
but
doing.
that's an old school cock there.
Yeah.
I do. Is that Byron Leverkusen?
Is that Bayern trying to steal the ball underneath the fucking cock? Is that what's happening? Oh man! All right, what else? Is that it for the Premier League?
I think we had one.
Yeah, we had a couple honorable. Oh no, Wolves.
Wolves.
Still had Wolves.
Yes,
Great yellow.
Cool.
Orange.
Yeah.
Honorable mention: Dortmund.
Love
Fire.
it. Fire.
Like,
Fantastic.
Dortmund
a kit.
rarely miss.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Rarely.
very much like we talked about last episode, like the Oregon. Like they just got it. Whoever's doing it, they just know what is going on.
Yellow and black is just like an iconic
Yeah,
kind of
it
like
just- it
you
works.
do yellow and black right, like it's fire.
It works.
It's always gonna be fire.
And it's hard not to do yellow and black right.
Yeah. What's their away one? Is their away one good too?
I just pulled up the home. The away was decent. Here, you know what?
Oh. Ew.
Yeah.
No.
I don't. Yeah.
The third kit's nice.
Yeah.
That's the away.
Yeah,
It's.
don't-
I'll give them that it's ambitious.
it's ambitious.
It's
It
very
is unique.
different.
It looks
It's
like a
very
practice.
different.
It looks like a practice kit.
It might look better on people. That might be one where
Yeah,
it looks.
That's what I said about City's third kid. Fingers crossed.
Oh, is Holland wet out there, or I can't tell.
Is he swim in a pool?
Is he in a
He's
car
so
wash
wet.
right now?
And then the third kit,
Fire.
it's just classic.
Yeah, love
right?
it.
Fire.
Love that.
Classic.
And we have to do. We saved the best for last.
A PSG
I mean-
home. Oh my god!
I mean, I might.
like blue and red. Blue and red
Yeah,
doesn't miss
blue
you.
and red looks good.
I
Love
might be the
that.
odd one out here.
Really?
I don't think it's. I think it's okay. Now,
Was it their away or they had? I think all three of them were good. If I remember.
if they did this
when I looked.
under Jordan, then I'd be like, yeah, it's cool. But I don't know. I think it's okay.
They will have like their third or fourth kit be Jordan.
Yeah, I think it's all right.
There was like at least a color scheme for it on here, but they didn't have the kit yet. Like
Yeah.
the Jordan one always hits, but like I love this one because it is your classic PSG red stripe down the middle, but they made it different.
Yeah.
Like they always find a way to make it different.
To do the
And
same
I like-
thing, but a little bit
I think
different.
this hits.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
That looks oddly
Actually-
familiar.
Actually, Eiffel
That's-
Tower.
That's fire. Creative. I think
Sick.
that's really cool. Yeah.
That's sick. Like that's Paris, right?
Yeah.
Paint,
Yeah, that's
art,
the one I
the
like
Eiffel
a lot.
Tower.
That's the one that I saw, and I was like, wow, that
That's
is
sick.
awesome. Like with away,
then-
like I feel like away kits look better in white. That's just like the way that it is for
Mhm.
like all sports. And then for you to have your colors in it, and for it to be, you know what I mean, one of the biggest, monuments. It's just that's a great one.
Yep.
That's an all timer.
And it's simple.
Yep.
It's so simple.
Yep.
3 lines.
Yeah,
And
just
that's the third
paintbrush.
kit as of now. Yep.
It's nice. I think it's good.
Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, the 4th, the Jordan kit we don't have yet, but it looks to be off noir, black, and pearl pink.
Ooh,
It's gonna be good
We'll see.
regardless of what they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
that's gonna be
Jordan kits always hit. They do.
Yeah.
All right. Are we gonna invite
okay.
the man?
Yeah, let's get Weston here for this conversation. And yeah, we'll be back in a second. All right, we ready?
Yep.
All right, we got Weston here for this very important topic that we've talked about a few times, and we decided we're going to dedicate, some time to it. Is Mikel Arteta. The conundrum that is Mikel Arteta. Is he the right guy for the job? Is he going to win the big trophy, Premier League or Champions League? Has he been given enough money? Has he done a good job?
Now,
And we are going to be here to debate it.
should we? I guess we could all jump in if we want. I mean, should we let Wes go ahead and really just hypnotize everybody with his words, or should we kind of all let?
So what I wanted to do first is I wrote down his starting 11 for his very first game in December of 2019.
Let's hear it. I would love to hear the comparison.
Because from doing some research, I saw that I was like, wow, okay. So I'm going to go through the starting 11. I wrote it down. I have lots of notes. Leno in goal, no longer with the club. Okay. Maitland-Niles, academy player, playing right back, no longer with the club. Yes.
How far back are we going?
This is his very first game in charge.
We can't. Okay.
2019.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
He's already arguing
homie,
this.
riff.
This is what he was given. This is his managerial time.
David Luiz at 30-something. Okay, starting
Puking.
center back. We have Socrates, okay, as our other center back.
Oh my god, that guy head was.
Here we go. Left back, Bukayo Saka, playing left back at like
Goodness.
17 years old. We have Lucas Torreira as our DM, who I think is actually 5'3". He's incredibly short. Also not with the club. Granit Xhaka, not with the club. Ozil, who would not run forward or backwards at this point. He was just kind of hanging out, playing Fortnite. We have Reece Nelson, starting right winger. Laka Zet, starting striker. And Aubameyang on the left wing. The only person in that starting 11 that is still on the team right now is Saka. That is the only one. 10 players have been moved on.
Technically, Nelson is in the books unless he moves.
Yeah, he is most likely moving this year and was on loan last year. So I thought that was very interesting that he literally had to change the entire starting 11 besides Saka. So starting 10. And it took him a while to do that. I went through and looked at all of his transfer windows. And if you look, the first window got Odegaard on loan and then ended up buying him a year later. We got Gabriel Magalhaes, the center back. We got him for $26 million. And then we got Thomas Partey, who is now moving on, but did do well for us for the past 5 years. Next year after that, he got Ben White, who was injured last year, but played a lot. Finally getting Odegaard, signed Ramsdale for a new goalkeeper. Not here anymore. Tomiyasu, Nuno Tavares, both, Nuno, I think, played for us for a season and was on loan for a bunch. Tomiyasu's been injured for 2 years straight. Year after that is the raiding Manchester City year, where he got Jesus and Zinchenko. Both did well for us then. Both are being moved on. I think Jesus would have been sold if not for him being injured, but I think he's a January sell for us.
And they spent 186 million.
Yeah. Trossard, good.
Who?
Trossard. We got him as well that year. We also got Kiwior. We got Jorginho, and we got Fabio Vieira. That was a big summer. But again, the only people in the starting 11 is Trossard. Not really. He's a bench guy. So we're still not filling out that starting 11 yet, and this is 3 years in. Then we have Declan Rice. Spent a lot of money this summer. We got Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Timber, and Raya on loan. Ended up buying him the next year. So those were 4 players that...
235 million.
Yeah, a lot of money on that one. And those are 4 players that are actually...
Or just in January for Manchester City.
And then last year, not a great window. Calafiore, who, stop-start injury this year. Marino, who ended up becoming our striker. And finished signing Raya, but that is it.
109 million.
And Sterling on loan. He got 28 players in for a total of 791 million. The average cost, if you just do that, is 28 million is the average, and that is his transfer record.
I know it maybe doesn't answer a direct question, but there were only 3 signings that weren't great that Arteta did. Nuno Tavares, I think he was out after a year, maybe played a year and a half. And we did some decent business. I think we got around what we paid for him or more.
Yeah, we got a lot of that back, and we loaned him out and got loan fees every time.
Yep. And then the only other 2 mishaps were Willian, which was like a panic loan move from Chelsea. And then we did it again, which is the third one, which is Sterling last season. But that's because Chelsea just paid for him to be at our club. And I think he played 5 games of like legitimate time. So
we've had a couple guys that have just been injured a lot. So it's like, it's not necessarily his fault. Like Tomiyasu, it's not Arteta's fault that he's been injured, every single time.
So
let's hear from the City and Chelsea fan.
So are we not counting 2019-2020 arrivals?
That is, so he wasn't there.
He took over in December of 2019.
Yeah, so he wasn't there for like the Saliba, Pepe, Tierney, that group.
Because I just don't know what was like summer in January. So I don't know what that is off the top of my head.
Yeah, so like Nicola Pepe was that big transfer that year.
He was the big one in the summer.
And then he inherited that. Like we got Saliba, but we loaned him out back to St. Etienne for 1 year, and then I think it to Nice, if I remember correctly, another French team. The year after that, so Arteta's like first full year, he loaned him out again. So we didn't really get him until like year 2.5, his, third season-ish, before he got Saliba, and kept him there.
So is Lukonga worth 17.5?
We sold him already. He played, I think, he was there. Another one like Nuno where he came for a year, didn't work out, loaned him out. Now he's being sold. Do
we think Ramsdale was worth 30?
I think we should have gotten more for Ramsdale selling him because when he left, he won. He was one of the best goalkeepers.
Yeah, but hang on. What's the topic here? It's about Arteta, not transfer by transfer. If it was worth it.
Okay,
but that's what you guys are doing anyway.
Well, I'm going into
everyone.
A lot of people want to talk about how much money he spent, but he inherited an absolutely horrible squad.
But like, here's what's crazy: he inherited a horrible squad, by your words, and won the FA Cup immediately.
Yeah,
and since then he's won 2 Community Shields.
So I think that year, actually, as Nico said earlier in this episode, how Chelsea won the Champions League is exactly how Arsenal won that FA Cup. We went to a back 5. You couldn't break us down, and we literally counterattacked with Abba, and he scored 2 goals against City, and he scored some goals against Chelsea, and that's how we won. We didn't beat teams for that FA Cup, and then after that, the squad was too thin to participate in those trophies. He literally lost on purpose the Carabao Cup for the last 3 years after that. Until we had Jesus, so 3 years in, 3 summer windows in, was the
Lose on-
only time we actually tried in those cups. And
But
But
then
it's
it
hard to
was
say
like-
that. It's hard to say it was too thin because, like, literally the next season, they had 2 more departures than arrivals, and they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 arrivals.
Yeah, but a lot of them are not.
Half of them have already been sold. Lukonga, Tavares.
Yeah, but that doesn't explain how you go from an FA Cup to 2 Community Shields, and that's it.
Well, I think him not winning an FA Cup and like a Carabao Cup since then, I think besides say the last 2 years, I can't fault him for, because he literally was like the first year where we got second, where he basically lost on purpose so we had less games to play because we were trying to win the league. That was the second.
But when you go with that mentality of like, we're not putting like importance under this cup, now you guys didn't win anything. So like
100%.
I don't like that excuse of like we didn't try, we lost on purpose. But if you guys won that, you guys would have 2 more trophies to brag about rather than like the Community Shield. So like I feel like it's tough that like this is where like every game should be big game mentality in a sense.
Let me ask you this. Go to any one of your clubs, City, Chelsea, in 2019, and then Arsenal 2019. Which squad has remarkably improved since then? Chelsea are still flat. As a matter of fact, I think they suck more than they did even 2 or 3 years ago. And City are coming down to earth and being realistic now that there seems to be a kink in the oil pipe that pays for
literally
their transfers.
Best
This
Chelsea
is so
have looked
crazy.
in
This is
years. Like I don't
so crazy.
understand that argument that like we have built our team up from like basically scratch because we had to. Our whole team is different. If we look back to our Champions League team, it's completely gutted because we had to. We got sanctioned. Nobody wanted to play for us. We had to start from the scratch. And then it took us a few years to get here. This is the best that we've looked since the sanction. So
And then you spent $2 billion and you have a cute little Conference League trophy to share.
we had to spend, and we got an owner that wanted to spend, that wanted to invest in our team. Unlike you guys, that your owner doesn't want to invest in your team. For what reason? We want to win trophies. We will spend the money. Man City wants to win trophies. They will spend money. Arsenal don't have balls.
Nikos, I agree with you, but it's even hard to say Arsenal don't want to spend money. They spent $235 million in 23-24. I mean,
They're not
that's
spending
just the
smart
January for us. No, we spent
Signing-
$150 million
signing
in
who?
January, and
That
what
was,
did we do in the summer?
Declan Rice, Kai
Nothing.
Havertz.
So
Rice,
50
Havertz, Timber. 3 players. You spent 235 million euros. The euro's
Okay.
more strong than the dollar right now. That's
This is so
more
fucking-
dollars.
This is so ironic for who this is coming from. It's so crazy to me.
It's ironic
So
because,
crazy to me.
oh my God, you're finally getting a glimpse in the mirror and realizing Arsenal spends. They just don't spend correctly.
See, I
Not
don't-
true at
that's-
all.
I don't think that's
Look
true.
at the 3 people that they signed in this crazy off-season market. Rice is, I think, the best 100 million or more player ever purchased in the
We
world.
know.
We've heard
We know.
heard your opinion
We
on this
know.
one.
Is Kai Havertz the best 75 million euro player in the world?
No, he's not. But
No, that's why they
think-
sing "Down the Drain."
You guys gave us a
I gotta-
lot of money for Kai.
You guys
yeah.
are still paying Kai Havertz for a goal he scored for Chelsea.
What?
Right? He scored the winner against City in the Champions League. That, like, you guys paid him for that.
That is correct.
Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah, I mean, when I saw what we were getting him for, I was like, well, that's not what I would have fucking paid. But yeah, I don't agree with the transfer fee, but I think it was maybe 15, 20 million off from where it should have been. But obviously we needed him. I don't think it was him that we should have went after, but here we are. And I think when he first started, people were like, what a train wreck. And then he kind of got decently average. It's not enough to win the league or win a Champions League, in my opinion. but it
And it's
but
not
it
worth
was
75 million. So what do you mean you spend properly?
okay. I mean, again, I don't have time to research and look up all the fucked up shit that City have spent and wasted away as well. But
Mhm.
again, I'm not going to nitpick a single transfer. I think my point is, in a nutshell, if you're not an Arsenal fan, you're looking at Arteta and saying he's not successful, hasn't won a trophy, has nothing to show for it other than
We
the FA Cup early
we
on.
haven't been able to explain why we don't like Arteta. I'm not saying I don't like Arteta because he hasn't won a trophy. I think he still has player mentality and not coach mentality. I think there's a huge difference of coming in as a former player and being like, "Yeah, I'm a player." You need to solidify yourself as a coach rather than a player. I think he runs down the sideline. His reactions are very much of a player, not much of as a coach that needs to one, keep his composure, two, stop crying in your post interviews. You have a standard to uphold. Get your respect from the team. Arteta cries and complains so much. So much. I think he needs to move away from his player mentality of that he played 10, 15 years ago, and he needs to transfer it to a coach mentality. You're not going to win anything if you're not there like a coach. You're buddy with other players because you're similar in age to them. You need to get the locker room in order. You need to get disciplined. And we talk about this every single year when you guys make a stupid foul and get yourself a red card is because none of the players have discipline. That comes from the coach. When Declan Rice is kicking a ball away or doing some dumb shit and getting himself a red card, and you guys are like, the world hates us. No, it's discipline. It's discipline. When you have your young players doing stupid tackles when you're on a yellow card already, it's discipline, and that comes from the coach. That comes from the person that's on the sideline that's supposed to be settling your team and setting the tone. And I think he has too much of a player mentality and not a coach mentality, and that's why I don't like him.
Kyle, if I can,
Yeah, you can take this one.
I want to hear from Kyle.
Well,
Kyle, I want to hear what you have to say, please.
I think him running up and down the sideline, I think, is just him tactically. Like, I think he is in that same vein as Pep, where they're kind of like, they're like that crazy different person where they look at that game and like, oh, you took you're 2 feet over to the left where you're now in the wrong position. And I think Pep is that way, which is why he scratches his head when he loses. I think they're both, I think that's why they got along for so long and why they're still friends. We're friends for all this time is they're just that crazy person. The interviews are only about red cards and the fouls that, like, Saka's the most fouled player basically every year. And
Really?
he's also like the lowest amount of yellows per fouls against him. And he complains about it all the time, which, okay, whatever. I just think personally, I think that non-Arsenal fans look at the team we have now and they're like, oh yeah, they should be winning things. And, he should have won a trophy. And yeah, if he won a cup, would we be thinking, oh, he won one more FA Cup? Like, now it's totally different. It's like, no, I think he's the last few years wrongly. I will say wrongly so. But I think he wanted to win the Premier League so bad, he gave up those other trophies. And then he did it again. And I think that this was the first year. We obviously had a crazy amount of injuries. I think that this is the first year where we finally like, hey, we're going to actually try in these. Then the injuries kind of destroyed the team and there was nothing we could do. We were playing a DM and striker, so we're not winning a trophy doing that. You know what I mean? I think that also as an Arsenal fan, he hasn't been backed properly. I totally agree with you that our owners should go. I would rather different owners. The reason I went through all those transfers is that he never got a quick fix. He's had to do this literally piece by piece by piece. Every year, he gets one player for the starting 11 and then one player. The only year where he got more than one was the Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, and Timber. And I think every Arsenal fan would get rid of Kai Havertz given the chance. So, whereas
That's not even
like
true, though.
no, it's totally
Yes, it
true.
is. Yes, it is.
Pep got how many starting players every window when he first came in? Chelsea have signed $2 billion worth of players in the last 5 seasons.
Conference League.
They've gotten every single transfer that they want.
Champions
It's
League.
not- we're literally he's
That's not even
we're
true.
penny
2022, they brought in Ben White, Odegaard, and Ramsdale.
okay.
And they were all great signings. Ramsdale
They were all
ended
good
up getting
signings, and we
terrible
upgraded on Ramsdale, so now we're down to 2.
2 years later.
Okay, 22. Okay, but then 22-23, Jesus and Zinchenko, right?
Good
Like that's your
good
striker,
for us
that's your
then.
left back. Those
Yeah.
are starting
they
quality. They
improved-
won the league as starters at Manchester City and spent
Because
35
they
on
bought the
Fabio
league
Vieira.
with other players. Like, I'm sorry that my club doesn't
If
spend
Jesus
$1 billion
didn't
in a
get
3-year
injured, we would have
span.
won it that year.
And then
Jesus before the
it
knee
was
injury
Rice,
was-
Havertz, and Timber. You're buying starting 11 players every year until last year. I mean,
think it's almost-
Calafiori, he probably should have been a starter. Marino,
Yeah.
I probably would have had in the midfield over Party if I'm being brutally honest. And then Raya, your keeper. But then again, like that's 2 guys that are starting caliber.
Look how Mourinho's performing when he plays for Spain. He's unbelievable.
Well, I think he couldn't because he started off the year with breaking his shoulder or dislocating his shoulder. So he missed the first 2 months of the year. Then he came back into a team now that's kind of rocking and rolling. But guess what? Odegaard's out. So now now he played midfield there and he's trying to play the Odegaard role. Obviously, he's not Odegaard, not that style of player. We had so many injuries this year that Mourinho never got to actually play his position. Now he can. Now it could be him and Zubamendi in that role. You know what I mean? Declan Rice over here and Odegaard over here. But last year, the injuries... last year has nothing to do with Arteta. He has asked for a striker. We were linked to the same fucking strikers all year last year, and we just never got one. So those... You know what I mean? He's never... To me, the reason we haven't won the big trophy is because the owners have not given him what he wanted. And if he got what he wanted when he wanted it, then we probably would have one of those major trophies.
I see.
So last year, if you had the choice between Declan Rice and Isak, which one are you taking?
Declan, all day.
Okay, so did
Well-
you get what you wanted?
Well, we were linked to Isak before
'Cause you
he
couldn't
went
buy
to
both.
Newcastle. We were linked to
You couldn't buy
Isak,
both.
and they didn't pull the
Well,
trigger. And didn't
I mean,
get him.
that proves our point in that case that he's not getting backed by potentially enough money. But
No,
personally,
you
I
don't
just don't
have.
like
No,
Isak
you don't
because
have.
he's
You
in-
can't
injury
spend the
prone.
money. Do you
Why?
expect them to spend 400 million in a transfer window?
Chelsea
If we
did
put
twice.
Man City on our
in the last 2
badge, I'm
years.
sure we will.
But then you have to sell people. Who are you going to sell? You didn't sell anybody, so you couldn't do that.
We had nobody
Well,
to
we-
sell.
Yeah,
That's
we
the
can't really
problem.
sell
The team
anyone
was so
because
bad. Who
we're
are you going to sell?
pretty
Ozil?
thin.
Are you
Ozil
gonna break the rules?
Ozil is 30 years old and was not worth anything. Aubameyang was such a disrespectful jerk at the end that nobody even wanted him on his team. Lacazette couldn't run. We had nobody. We had nobody to sell. There was no Coutinho to sell for 100 million and revive the squad. What we could have done is sell Saka at 17, 18 years old and got some stupid amount of money. But we're not going to do that because he's the face of our team, and we. You know what I mean?
Instead,
He's
you're
still
sitting in second place instead of building a team to win first.
Yeah,
But how many times have you guys come to a 17-year-old Saka that's playing as your left back that isn't your star yet and not loan him out for 30 mil, for 15 mil? Like we see with all these players that are like Rashford. He's not working for us, so let's loan him out. What are you guys doing with
So,
loaning on
we did Aubameyang. We loaned, we sent him out, got nothing. We ended up having to eat his contract. Nuno Tavares didn't work out. We loaned him 3 times, sold him for peanuts. Lukonga bought him, played him for half a year, didn't do great, loaned him out for 2 more seasons, sold him. We, for whatever reason,
Cedric
Arsenal couldn't
Suarez?
sell. Cedric Suarez got him basically I think he came in a free actually. Or we got him
What's up with
under
Fabio
5.
Vieira? You spent 35 on him.
Yep, and he's
He's
been
still
loaned
on the
out now.
books.
I
And he's
think
been loaned out, and he's going to be sold.
I think
and-
historically we see especially with Arsenal, is that you guys can yell at City, Chelsea, a lot of these teams for biting at players early and seeing something shiny and wanting to go for it. We're fine, yeah. But it's I think you guys are the complete opposite. A lot of those names that you read off were people that had a prime just missed their prime, and then you guys are like, we want it. David Luiz, you're talking about, and I could just name like 5 Chelsea players. Check. David Luiz. We could Sterling. A few people that you guys mentioned on this thing were like Havertz, where like they hit their peak. They were really good players, and then they were like, I'm on the turn of my career, and then you guys still pay top dollar for these players that are like on that turn decline, and then a year later, you guys are like, what a big bust. Fuck Chelsea. But then, like, why wasn't that, like, the accountability on, like, Arsenal would be like, yeah, we probably bit on a player that, like, realistically was kind of falling out of his prime, and we bit on him because they won something.
Yeah, so that's where I would say, well, that's none of those decisions are Arteta's decision. He didn't go to Edu and say, listen, I really wanted Nico Williams last year, but we weren't able to get him because he wants to stay. I really need Sterling. Let me tell you, man. It's like, no, he probably said, listen, we got no more money to spend.
He was just a body on the bench.
Like, hey,
but at what point is that?
What about Jesus and Zinchenko?
Well, Jesus was awesome before he got a knee injury.
Stop.
Jesus would have won us the league if not for the knee injury.
This is very nauseating. Zinchenko and Jesus came into our squad when it was really not good and made the squad better instantly. The next year when they joined the team, our team was better, period. Now you look at them, it's easy to be like, well, they were kind of a flop. No, they weren't. They're just not good as they were 2-3 seasons ago. So, yes, they're not caliber to win us a trophy anymore. But to come here and be like, we screwed you guys on getting them, no. You helped our squad get better. So thank you.
Why are they
that's
still
not
there?
My point, though. Why are they still there, and was it good business?
They're still there because Zinchenko's leaving, and Jesus is probably leaving too. And Jesus is getting $200 a week, which is probably why he's just sitting on the contract.
Yeah, well, Jesus is injured yet again. He's now had the second ACL of the same knee, so he's never coming back the same. The transfer business was good enough for Manchester City to say, we are never selling to Arsenal ever again because we challenged you guys for the league that year. And the only reason we didn't win is because Jesus got injured. And if Jesus didn't get injured, we definitely would have at least pushed you guys to the last day.
We almost
who else are you guys trying to buy from?
We almost beat you.
Pep literally said we are never selling to Arsenal again while I am here.
And he probably laughed after he said it, right?
He was actually honest and said that now, you know what I mean? Because if you guys didn't do that, that was the year Liverpool fell off. That was the year that Liverpool got injuries, but it was okay for Liverpool to get fourth with their injuries. But it's not okay for Arsenal to get second, and we had more injuries than they had that year.
Right. So not only did he sell you Jesus and Zinchenko, but he also sold you waterfront property in Omaha, Nebraska. Just real estate in your head, living rent free. Arteta.
Can we go back to the topic though of Arteta rather than picking apart every last? Because
yes,
I mean,
we're gonna. I was trying to transition to that.
To break down the terrible Chelsea signings over the past even just two years.
I brought us back on track, and I talked about why I personally don't like Arteta. Then we got off track again. I said what I had to say, and then we went off into a tangent because you didn't like what I said.
So I want to go back to what Nico said.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry he's the most passionate coach in the league.
Incorrect. Immature.
I'm sorry that we get screwed over with red cards more than anyone. I know you even said when Rice kicked the ball, I think his complete hip pushed it like a few centimeters, and then he gets the red card. At the end of the day, as I said earlier, I know that we don't have a Premier League or Champions League trophy to show during Arteta's time as manager, but other than that, he has made the team better. I actually wrote notes down. He restored identity and culture 100%. Like, the fan base used to laugh at itself, and now we're like, no, fuck you. 2, he brought technical brilliance and adaptability. So, again, I think I said if you look at our squad 5 years ago and compare it to a 90-minute game today, it's night and day. It's like watching a championship league or team versus a Premier League team. He brought massive squad development. He's helped, even though Odegaard had an off year, brought in Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli. again, you want to talk about us doing bad business. We picked up Martinelli for $3 million from Brazil, and I think we could probably sell him for 30+ million. So he has also brought consistent progress. So we finished top 4 every single year after 21.
Yeah, it was
21?
8-8, and then second, or it was 8-5.
So he was dealt a squad
Yeah.
that couldn't even make Champions League, and in 18 months he was in Champions League. Now we're talking about being in the semifinals of Champions League. Again, I get it. Didn't win the trophy, didn't go all the way. But we did literally as much as you could progress without getting the trophy. We came in second place by a game, like twice. We collapsed towards the end of one of our seasons. We have improved across the board in every aspect as a team. And the only thing missing, and this is why I'm so Arteta, is because it has always been up. The trophy is coming, but to sit here and say that he's either not a good manager, not the right manager, or I don't like him because of this. I mean, you could choose not to like him, but not to mention some obvious things I'm leaving out. So I'm not trying to make this long. We have the best defense in the league for 2 years running. We have not lost to a top 6 opponent in almost 2 years. Again, no trophies, but it is as good as it can get without trophies.
Yeah, I mean, we
So
used to
in
get
the grand
slapped up.
scheme of thing, like I don't ever want to say that I was embarrassed to be an Arsenal fan 6 or 7 years ago, but it sucked. It sucked. And now, even though we don't have the trophy, we are so much better that I feel like we could walk into the Bernabeu and beat them on their home turf, something that City couldn't even do. So again, we're talking about progress, and the opposing side is like, no trophies. I agree. Everything
But-
else is there.
But like Nico said with discipline, right? You guys haven't lost to a top 6 opponent in 2 years, but you also haven't won the league either of those 2 years. You've had the best defensive record in those 2 years, but you haven't won the league the last 2 years. Like, isn't that discipline? Like, doesn't a
No.
disciplined team beat the teams that they're supposed to beat? Doesn't a disciplined team not get red cards in stupid situations? Doesn't a disciplined team like your manager?
Discipline
like,
is getting the ego minds like Aubameyang out of there and getting the wasteful Louise and other people out of there. That's what the discipline has been so far. And I know that Nico said, well, he's running up and down the sidelines like a maniac. Sure, his first year, it was a bit of a circus, but I get it. He's passionate. It's his first coaching job. He's doing terrific. He's obviously calmed down more. Like, yes, he still gets fanatic at times, but he's not a let loose going down the sideline on a goal. But again, I don't know how else you could improve at this point on our team by not winning a trophy. Meaning we have progressed so much that we're at the ceiling, and the ceiling is the trophy. We've done everything else.
I don't think that, I don't think anyone's going to sit here, JP and I don't think anyone's going to sit here and be like, oh, you guys haven't improved. You guys have 100% improved.
Yeah, you've improved.
You guys have gotten to the point where you guys are a competitor for a top trophy. But at the end of the day, the goal is getting that trophy. And at what point are we holding on too long? I understand you guys are building. But at the end of this year, if you guys don't win the Premier League, are we moving on? Because we're putting all of our eggs in this one basket. That at what point are we changing? If we keep falling short, we're always going to fall short if we don't make a big or tactical adjustment. I don't even think, and this is a bold statement I'm going to make right now, I don't even think Arteta's the best coach on your team. I think your set piece guy is the reason you guys won probably 5, 6, 7 games this year. You guys wouldn't even be in top 4 if it wasn't. Your set piece guy won you in singularly. Does no one else agree with me that your set piece guy individually won you guys like 5 or 6 games?
He
is. I wouldn't not necessarily win, but it was the difference between either 3 points and 1 point or 1 point and 0 points.
I don't know, but what I do know is that it's not like Arteta sat and talked about what we were going to do for the game and then closed his eyes and shut his mouth and said, "All right, I hope you go and tell them what they should actually be doing on the set pieces." If anything,
I think that might be what they
extra
do.
credit.
Well,
No, that is.
I think Arteta's over there and be like, "Yo, go figure out the set pieces. You guys got that."
Him being the coach and getting that set piece guy in is another genius. So if you're trying to compliment the set piece coach, all you're doing is complimenting Arteta's staff that he brought in. So thank you.
That
Makes him
person,
a great manager.
JP, you go because you haven't.
I want to play a game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how many of these names you guys recognize. Harry Redknapp,
Yep.
Roberto Martinez,
Yep.
Gus Hiddink,
Who?
No. No.
Who?
Joe Royal,
Nope.
He's probably gonna do something stupid where he's like that.
Gianluca Vialli,
Nope.
George Graham,
Yeah.
Roberto Di Matteo. So some of those names are rather foreign, correct?
Yeah.
Some of them are recognizable, like I've heard that name before, but before my time, or
Yeah.
and obviously guys like Roberto Martinez, like he's still managing. Redknapp, everyone knows from
Yeah.
commentary. Vialli, kind of a legend, but those are all managers who have won the FA Cup and not the Premier League. And that is the list Mikel Arteta will be joining before his time at Arsenal is up. So I just want you guys to know that you are climbing on the back of Mikel Arteta, saying he's the guy, and 10 years from now, when 4 30-year-olds decide to do a podcast, he's going to be one of those stats.
So let me just.
He's not the guy.
Let me just go
He's
through
not
this because I think there's some like revisionist history going on here. The
Okay.
first year that we finished second was when Jesus and Zinchenko came, and nobody.
I
thought
thought
that
we got duped.
Yeah, and nobody thought that we were going to be in a title race that year. We finished fifth the year prior, 1 point off of fourth. Nobody thought we were going to be even close. Okay, Jesus played lights out until December, and then the World Cup happened, and his knee exploded. Okay, then because of the way that the schedule went that year, that was the year where we played 3 more games than City up until like the middle of like April. And it was like, oh my God, Arsenal has been in first for all this time. It's like, yeah, we also played more games. So, yeah, we should if we played more games than you, obviously. So that was the...
Yeah, but
that
a couple
was,
draws and losses at the end of the season is why people say you bottled it, not because you had a lead with more
But it was
wins,
because...
more games.
But everybody says, oh, we bottled it because we had a lead, but we never had a lead because we played more games than you. So that doesn't... You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like you have a lead, you got to keep winning games. You can't lose and draw.
Yeah, and we also didn't have our striker. Our main guy was not there. Jesus did not play.
By the way, from that list, Roberto Di Matteo won a Champions League and was still fired by Chelsea.
Yeah. Also,
Let me ask you this.
There's a lot of
So-
Chelsea legends
Hold on.
on that list.
So
Hold on,
some
Nick.
men have been fired for less.
So now you get to the second title year.
Tuchel.
That was the year where City didn't lose since basically Thanksgiving. I think you guys literally went undefeated. I know it was since Christmas. It might have even been before Christmas. You guys didn't lose. And we also didn't lose, except for our only draw was against you guys, except for at the very end once the league was gone. And you will say, oh, well, they should have went to City and tried to win the game. Well, no, actually, no. You could say that if you have fucking 40-40 vision and you could look back and say that. But going into that game, if we lost that game, our title chances were basically 0. If we drew that game, gave us very good odds. Obviously, if we won that game, gave us really good odds. But we went into that game, we're going to counterattack you guys and try to win the game that way. We weren't going to let you guys come and try to slap us up. And that is obviously the game plan that gave us the best chance going forward. And then you get into last year.
But how many times can you let your manager... But how many times are you going to give your manager the scapegoat of, like, oh, this probably gave us the best chance to win. Because in reality, like, City could still lose another match, and you guys could be champions. Like, how many times is he going to get that cop-out? Like, well, yeah, maybe if we did this, it would have won. But, like, that match, you guys had 11 behind the ball, and it was boring. I mean, I was sitting there yawning. We were all on the couch watching the match, and I was like, why are we here?
Yeah, well, that was you guys trying to break us down, and we weren't gonna lose that game. We went into that we're not gonna lose. There's certain matches
not going to lose isn't we're going to win a trophy mentality. And how many times is Mikel Arteta going to get away with that?
Because everybody does that. If City go play Real Madrid and they score a goal, and then they go to the Bernabeu, they're not going to go to the Bernabeu and say, you know what, guys, let's just fucking go for it. Let's everybody bomb down the wings and let's go for it. No, they're going to play defensively because they have a 1-goal lead, and they're going to try to not lose that game. Arsenal went there with the mentality of we're not going to lose this game. We're not going to let them score on us. We obviously are going to try to score if we get those opportunities. But that's not what we're trying to, you know what I mean? That doesn't give us the best chance of winning the title.
Winning gives you the best chance of winning the title.
For someone questioning if he's ever going to win us a title or not, say he leaves tomorrow. Who are you bringing in that's available and better?
I mean,
that's an outstanding question. I'm calling a few managers.
There's the likes of Klopp.
I'm calling Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, he wouldn't come to Arsenal. He was at Liverpool. There's no way.
He's available. I mean, these are the names that are available.
I'm calling Luis Enrique.
What's Zidane doing right now?
Zidane won a Champions League. How many has Arteta won?
What about TT? I know he's making a lot of money, but what about TT?
Should we go back to see which managers started
they could
at
outpay
age 40
Paramount
and see who won Champions League before they were 45? I think it would be pretty low. As a matter of fact, I think the list is 0 without having to look it up.
Say it again. I missed what you said. I'm not gonna lie.
Tell me of Zidane or any of these successful coaches that we talk about. Tell me which one started coaching at 40 and won their first Champions League by 45. None.
I don't know how old Zidane was when they won.
Probably how old was Pep when he took over at at Barcelona?
How old's Zidane right now? Hold on. Okay.
But it took Pep a long time to win the Champions League with a Manchester City team that was obviously better than Arsenal's and obviously the best team in the country for multiple years of him being there.
You want to know what's going to be something that I truly hope happens, not because, well, in addition to just hoping that the team gets even better, but if we get a world-class striker, some of the couple names that we're looking at, Sesko or Gyökeres, even though I think I prefer Sesko, if they sign him and they do a winger, if they can fit that all in addition to some of the small stuff that they've done now, we have that center back from Valencia that looks like it could happen.
Yeah.
Which is a great move building for the future. If he gets those signings in, it's actually the perfect trial season. So long as that, if injuries don't go crazy, like they did last year, it's really going to tell if he's the right coach.
I just want to circle back real quick. I'm so sorry. You made that comment about the 40-something-year-old if they ever won a Champions League. Zidane's 53. I'm no mathematician, so somebody help me out here. Zidane's 53. He won the Champions League in 2016, 17, and 18. So that's 9 years ago. 9 minus 53. Who's got that for me?
42?
44.
44. And you said 45?
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, Pep won it at 37.
But with the best Barcelona team ever. But I gotcha.
Okay.
Hold on a second. You asked the question.
Yeah.
I gave you an answer.
That wasn't. We answered your question.
I will eat my words.
Okay.
There were. Sorry that Arteta is not the third ever coach under 45 to win Champions League yet. Sorry.
It's not even
I think
about
he's got a couple more years too.
I'm saying he's not the guy. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, he is.
If you were to give
when?
us if you were to go back to last year and you were to give us the striker that Arteta wanted, and obviously this striker then didn't get injured, do you think that we win the Champions League or Premier League?
If you guys had Isak,
Yeah, we wanted Isak, and he actually Arteta wanted
You're not
Isak
beating
really
PSG.
bad before
You're not
before he
being
got to
PSG
Newcastle.
Champions League this year. No shot.
are we talking about last year or this year?
Last year, like the
If you guys
season
got
that just
Isak
ended.
last year, you guys probably would have made a little bit more noise than you guys did. I mean, having somebody that scored 23 plus goals is
You know
pretty
what?
big.
We only
He's
scored
so injury
69
prone.
goals last year. The year before that was 91. The
As-
year before
as
that was
somebody-
88.
Had him back to back in fantasy, I can guarantee you that guy's a stud, and he is
Last year,
fairly injury pro. Like I don't think he was injured at all last year. Maybe like a few weeks, not even.
this was
Yeah.
his first season where he was actually playing regularly. You go back other seasons, and he did not have a full stint.
Actually, I looked it up because we were interested in him. If they weren't going to make Champions League, then we would have went in for him. I think he averaged like 25 games since he's been at
23,
Newcastle.
24, he had 21 goals, 30 matches played. 24, 25, 34 matches played, 23 goals.
Yeah.
Sure,
And that-
2022, 2023, he had 20
And you know what?
matches played.
Arteta wanted him, and Edu did not deliver on that. He wanted him before he went to Newcastle. We actually wanted Darwin Nunez or Isak, were the two strikers that we were looking at that year, and we didn't get either one.
Because he didn't fucking pay.
But that's not Arteta. That's not on him. He can't get blamed, or he can't get, oh, he's not a good coach, or he's never going to win the trophy because this Brazilian.
So why
loser-
is it? So why does all credit go to him when we guys do make a signing? So that debunks everything. Why are we giving him
Because-
credit? We're giving him credit when the signing happens, but when a signing doesn't happen, we say it's not in his control.
So
Because that's exactly what it is. When he makes a signing, it's because he did it. He was instrumental in it. When he can't sign someone that he wants to sign, it's out of his control. He's being told by people up above, "You're not getting the funds." That's exactly how it makes sense.
yeah, I mean Declan Rice. He talked to Declan Rice, and Declan Rice was like, okay, yeah, that this is exactly what I'm looking for. And even City came in, and he was like, no, I want to go here.
That's another big thing. Like past couple years, is the
City-
first time
City
that-
saw a
that-
number.
that we don't just get
City-
him swiped away.
City saw a number and they said, "Oh, we think that's good value if we pay another 10 million more." And West Ham said, "Hey, Arsenal, you want to pay more?" And Arsenal said yes, and City said, "Okay, we're out."
100 million was a bargain
Well,
for him, though.
he
We've already been
actually
over
said
this.
no. He said no to you guys. You didn't.
He
say
said no
you're
to
out.
Man City over Arsenal.
He could have
made that
paid him
project
more.
than you.
Yeah, but he
They
didn't
could have
want.
paid him
He
more.
didn't want to go there. He chose.
If
to,
they paid him more, he would have gone there. That's how it works.
no.
Pretty sure he just said no to City.
Yeah.
Pretty sure if they offered him more money, he would have said yes.
I think they would have too. I bet you
I
they
don't
know what he's
offered him
getting.
more money than what he's getting at Arsenal, because we don't have a single player over 300. We don't have a single player over 300.
He's getting 240
I don't think
a
so.
week. You can bet your ass Man City would have had him at 350. He simply said no to Man City. He preferred the
Yeah.
Arsenal project.
United players
Get over
get
it.
more than they do, than Arsenal players.
We didn't chase Rice. We didn't chase Verts.
You should have. You really should have.
Why? Why? We got Cherokee for 35.
Because you actually would have probably won the league last year, since your whole
Actually,
team
if you
around
did have
Rodri
Declan
got
Rice,
injured.
you would have won the league last year, because when Roger got
Because
injured,
with
you would have had
Rodri-
Rice.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
you would have
hey,
had Rice.
it happens. Half our team is injured. It is what it is.
I think we might have to put a ribbon on this. I think we are approaching hour 2 of our 1 hour podcast.
Yeah.
Can we enter with a or end with a last one answer, which is, what is the grade you give Arteta up to this point?
And I will add in a bonus to that is, will he ever win the Premier League at Arsenal as as a manager?
Start. I'll give him the credit of a B, maybe B plus, just to the growth aspect of what he's done for you guys. Yes. I don't think, for reasons that I said, mentality, discipline, maturity. I think those are my purposes. I just feel like that's the reason why he won't be that guy. And I don't think he'll win a Premier League, especially with the competition that you guys do have this year with your top competitors, City making big moves, Liverpool making massive moves. I think that you guys
I think you
haven't
have to
made,
start putting Chelsea in there too.
and Chelsea looking pretty good. I think you guys haven't made that massive move yet to make yourself as that competitor, while everyone around you is making those moves. So I don't think the Premier League's coming under Arteta. That's my grade.
Okay.
JP?
Yeah, we'll let the Arsenal guys go last. Arteta, I was we'll let them go second. I'm more bullish on him than Nikos. I'm B plus A minus. He has brought them to where they are now. I don't think he gets them over the hump that they are now, and that's why I don't give him an A or an A plus, because it's now been he's stuck in the same spot, and I know second place is not a bad spot to be in, but it's not first. His contract is until the 26-27 season, so I was gonna say maybe give him a year without Pep in the league. But he might not even get that. We'll see. It might be a year-to-year contract for him here on out. That's kind of where I am with him.
A minus, and yes.
Okay. I will also say A minus, and I will say yes, he will. And I will say that every single time that we haven't and we finish second has not been his fault. It hasn't been the end of the season and he tried to get cute and rest these guys to do this, and he screwed it up by trying to do that. That hasn't happened. So I don't think any of the losses of finishing second are on him of like, oh, he made a mistake. I think that it's been mostly squad related. So I will say yes.
I changed my answer to yes. He will win a Premier League with Man City.
And on that note, thanks everyone.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next week for
you
episode
understand
5.
that I'm going to bring this to you when we win the league, and you're going to
Podcast
eat your
over.
words.
The
I'm flying
podcast
out
over.
to Vegas, so you
Podcast
know
over.
it's
I'll bring you a spoon so you can eat my ass.